Hotel in Clare, Galway, tomorrow night starting from 9 o'clock on. And it all comes indeed out of one parent's quest to raise funds in relation to what he and his family and his daughter in particular has gone through. And again, one parent going through this, and I'm sure there's other parents listening to us today going through it. Gerry Flaherty from Lochgeorge, Clare, Galway, joining us. Gerry, good morning to you.
Good morning, Keith.
Thanks for joining us today. Let me go back to prior to July 11. What type of life were you having?
Everything was fine, everything was going good, and we had no problems at all. Everything was just going the way it should go. We were raising our family. And
how many in family do you have?
One daughter and two sons.
And all going well? All going
well? Yeah.
And what happened in July 11?
Saranne, that's my daughter's name, she started to have some problems that, not for herself, not the bubbly person that we always knew she was, and just not 100% of where she should be. And started complaining.
What age was she then at that stage?
21, just this time last year.
Yeah.
21,
God.
Yeah, shortly after her 21st birthday.
Yeah.
And we noticed that she wasn't just feeling herself. And she had been to the local doctors a few times who checked things out and said, see how it goes. Wasn't sure what was what at the time, through no fault of their own.
And was she just lethargic? Was she just not herself?
Just not herself, yeah. And was showing sort of bags under the eyes, as you would call it at the time, where in our days, I suppose it'd be from late nights, but we knew it wasn't from late nights.
Yeah.
But one thing led to another anyway, and we eventually ended up sending her she was called to Merlin Park Hospital for blood tests. That was in July of last year, where a blood clot was found in the hepatic vein, which is liver-related. We were told at the time that the medical term for it was Budd-Chiari syndrome, which, according to the experts, happens to 1 in almost 1 million people.
Budd-Chiari?
Budd-Chiari syndrome, yeah. I'd never heard it before either.
No.
But believe me, I know what it is now. But at the time, it was diagnosed as a clot in the hepatic vein. Budd-Chiari syndrome was diagnosed by a Dr. Ruth Gilmore and her team, who were based in the regional hospital, but who had come to Merlin Park to see her. So shortly after that, then, Saranne was sent to UCHG for what was called a TIPS procedure. That's the medical term for it. Basically, as far as I know, it's to bypass the clotted area on the liver. They tried 3 times in the original to do that, but were unsuccessful all 3 times. And then we were told that she would probably have to be sent to St. Vincent's in Dublin, and if they couldn't handle it, then it would be on to Birmingham.
St. Vincent's being the centre of excellence when it comes to liver and that,
which it certainly is,
yeah.
So through all of this, after the 3 TIPS procedures failed, we thought, Saranne was going to be getting weaker and weaker. But it was anything but that. She was getting stronger and stronger. It was us that was getting weaker and weaker. So after that, then, she was discharged for monitoring for a couple of weeks, and that was on the 18th of August, while her file was sent to St. Vincent's for them to have a look at it. Then Vincent's called her to see a Professor McCormick, who examined her, and he decided to wait another little while to see how things would go. This was in August. The reason for that wait was, we were told, it was a very dangerous operation to go through with. So they were just trying to see, they were doing their best to see how was the best way to get through the problem they were faced with. So
it was very much a wait and see, and they were
monitoring it at the time, yeah. Around, coming up to this stage last year, it was wait and see, and we were getting news from the experts that we didn't want to hear. So
you wanted this to go away?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. We didn't want to hear what we were being told. But in hindsight, they were right to tell us what they told us, because that's the way it was.
They prefer to inform.
Yeah.
And that's what they did in that situation.
And because of Saranne's age of 21, they would tell her before they would tell us. So she was getting that news on her own. Where we would be in the waiting room, for instance, they would be telling her in her ward, which was tough to take, but she's strong.
Tough.
Extremely strong.
And
so
what happened next?
Yeah, she was seen by Professor McCormick, and he decided to let it, to see how things, let it go for a while to see how things went. But by mid-November, she started to get very, very sick very, very quickly. And Sorry, Keith, I'm just looking through this here.
At what stage did they decide on that she needed a transplant? And when did they tell you that she needed a transplant?
Well, they told us that she needed a transplant, I'll never forget it, on a Saturday at 4:15. And of course, my first question was, they told us her name would go on the list for transplant. So my first question was, well, how long would you be on this list?
Yeah.
And was told that, well, it could be a day, a week, a month, a year. We just didn't know. They didn't know.
They don't, you see.
They don't, because
it's somebody else's tragedy that becomes
exactly the point I was coming to is somebody else had to go through the very opposite to what we were going through in order for this to happen. But that was at 4:15 on a Saturday. They told us that her name was on the list. And miracle of miracles, by 10 to 11 that same night, we had got a call from Vincent's Hospital to say, the magic words as we call them, we have a liver.
Wow.
And it's suitable. And we're going to operate at 6:30 a.m. That was a Sunday morning. So we were told to be in there at 5:30 a.m.
Were you at home in Lochgeorge at this?
No, we were living in Dublin B&B at the time.
Right.
I think we were 4 or 5 weeks there at the time, close to the hospital. So we were told to be in at 5:30 a.m. and I think we were in there at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah.
She was being prepped and getting ready for the operation. So they wheeled her away at literally bang on 6:30 a.m. We were told not to come back to the hospital until at least 3:30 that day, because it was a long procedure.
That was a Sunday morning.
That was a Sunday morning.
It was a long
6:30
Sunday.
a.m. That was a long
knocking
Sunday,
around Dublin, hoping.
Yeah, it was indeed. Yeah.
Is she alive? How is she?
Exactly. Yeah. All kinds of thoughts going through our minds. That was on the Sunday morning at 6:30. We were told not to come back until after 3:30. So by 10:30 that morning, only 4 hours later, our phone rang and we knew the number was the hospital. So I'm sure any parent can imagine what is going to be said here now.
Horror of horrors.
So we answered, Tricia, my wife, answered the phone and was told the best news probably we ever got, that the liver was in and was working and her kidneys had kicked back in by themselves.
Wow.
That was only 4 hours later. So to use the term that the liver coordinator used is the procedure was textbook.
Good.
So that was this time last year. And we saw her later on that day, but she was still under very heavy sedation. So we were told just have a look and go away and come back tomorrow. She was moved into ICU until the following Tuesday and was then transferred to HDU. And from then on, she started to improve very, very well, very, very quickly. Even so much so that the staff up there were going to make Saranne their mascot. She was sitting up and telling them what to do very quickly afterwards, So she went from strength to strength after that. And that was on the 4th of December that operation took place. And she was home in Galway for Christmas.
Good.
And that was the best Christmas present we could have got.
So is she doing well now?
She's now as good as ever, back to her bubbly, confident self.
Minding herself?
Absolutely.
Taking it easy.
She's taken to this so much, so strongly. Again, showing us all the strength that she has. Don't know where she got it from. You could put 10 adults together and they wouldn't have the kind of strength she has. But she has come through it 100%, is looking well, feeling well, back to her bubbly, confident self, as good as she ever was.
So you're going to have a bit of a celebration tonight. And
we certainly are, yeah.
You're celebrating the success of the operation. You're celebrating indeed that flipping last year is over.
Yeah.
And you're celebrating indeed trying to raise funds for the transplant unit in St. Vincent's.
Exactly, yeah.
So what have you on tomorrow night?
Right, what we have on tomorrow night is we have from 9 o'clock on in the Arches Hotel in Galway. There's no cover charge, there's no ticket sales. Basically, you walk in as you would to any hotel. There'll be music there. There'll be finger food there. There'll be a massive raffle there. And there'll be some buckets and boxes there for people to donate wherever they can and whatever they feel they should. It's every single cent that we raise is going to the Liver Transplant unit in Vincent Hospital. And I'd like to thank everybody that was involved in helping us to run it. And also our sponsors, because Our raffle consists of over €1,200 worth of very, very, very good prizes.
From various sponsors across the country. And, of course, the local area. And the music is not, the music is not going to cost us anything. The raffle is not going to cost us anything. So I'd like to be very clear on the fact that every cent we raise is going to the hospital. There are no costs. Well, I think having heard your story, that a lot of people will go along and just indeed just make a donation.
Of course.
Because the liver unit, and having known quite a few people who've gone through the liver unit, and some of them with us, some of them not with us. The families of those are very strong people, and they support and support and support. Can I thank you for popping into us today, Gerry Flaherty? But if you do want to get further details, you can pop along to the Arches Hotel tomorrow from 9 o'clock on, and just pop in and say hello to the family and celebrate with them in the nicest possible way with finger food, music and chat indeed. Gerry, good luck to you. Keep strong.
Thank you very much, Keith.
Try and enjoy this Christmas as well as enjoy it.
We have to double up this year.
Well, take it handy altogether. Thanks for joining us. Gerry Flaherty from Loch George in Galway there, telling us the story, which really shows the importance of us all carrying a donor's card, be it in our licence or be it in our wallet, or just be it by saying to a next of kin, by the way, if anything happens to me, if there's anything good in me, take it out of me and donate it indeed to somebody that may need it. Now though, it's 9:46. Can I just say a huge thank you, by the way, to the Archdiocese of Tuam